I would like to talk a few words on aesthetics of care in art and in everyday life, and rather as a final kind of paper, I am proposing it as a still some ideas in the process of development. However, focusing on the importance of this paradigm shift that is from knowledge to taking care of, from that we have to know, that we have to cooperate and take care of each other and of oneself. Generally here I see conceptually two approaches to aesthetics of care, if we take it as a term, as a concept. So the one is more found to be realized in artistic practice, and is focusing on the care for an ecosystem, you may say, inside of oneself, understood as the care for the self. Here there enters this understanding of a body as a kind of ecology of different species that was already discussed in the previous sessions. So if we think about the body as this kind of ecosystem, as this multi-species ecology, we should take care of its kind of equilibrium. We shouldn't sterilize ourselves, but we rather should keep balance of this entire system internally, but also in relation with the outside ecosystem, because really then we can see the picture of like ecosystems within ecosystems and on multi-layers that are being immersed in such a way. So, and the second approach to aesthetics of care is more kind of theory based and is philosophical approach that is developed from aesthetics of experience and environmental aesthetics, built on pragmatist approach, especially by Arnold Berland, and later developed by the people and philosophers, aestheticians inspired by him. As for example, Yuriko Saito is one of important figures developing now this aesthetics of everyday and of care within the everyday, because then this care is of the qualities that we find in everyday lives, so that we should take so this kind of aesthetical approach is making us focus on everyday objects and practices, thinking of the well-being of oneself, also within the certain surrounding. So that generally these two kinds of approaches are not completely, like, they are not contradictory. They are like grasping from two perspectives. That is, one is more practical, so this aesthetics of care is realized within the artistic practice, and from the other side, it is rather this aesthetics of care within the everyday aesthetics grown from this environmental aesthetics and so forth. That is a more philosophical approach. So this first approach, aesthetics of care of internal ecosystem, that is minding its balance with the outside ecosystem. So this is the focus that is not thinking on the especially like art creation in the form of delivering specific physical or material objects, but it is rather creating artistic situations and conducting a specific artistic practice, then delivering goods in a kind of art world or art market where they can be marketed. Yes. the concepts that are being employed in order to understand oneself as an ecosystem within the wider other ecosystem that is outside of our body in which we are immersed is, for example, the concept of porous body. That is the kind of self-contained, or generally we are not self-contained like monads, as Leibniz would like to have it, but constant interchange with the outside. So that outside is entering our souls, and this what is inside, a constant dynamic. So then we have to really think about balancing ourselves with this surrounding, seeing oneself as really thrown into the world where he, she, it, they are inhabiting. And processual form of transformation. Here, I really I can refer to this what Justyna Stępień was saying before, that here we understand our body, our material body, as also in the process of constant transformation of everything that materially exists in the world. That it is the interconnections and interactions of these diverse moments. And this second aesthetics of care of every day is this more theoretical, philosophical one, is drawing to the front the care for sensible qualities in everyday objects and practices. So it makes us more careful, yes, so that we are more mindful, that we are really oriented towards experiencing qualitative things and situations. So qualitative, but also kind of positive. This aesthetics is oriented towards positive aesthetic values that are also bringing with themselves support for the well-being, yes, well-being of oneself within the surrounding, within the community, within the certain environment. And this aesthetics of care within these everyday aesthetics has got diverse roots, and it can be important roots can be traced in a Far East philosophy, and in Japanese approach, also in Buddhist approach, and it can be also traced more recently in Western thought, in this pragmatist approach developed by Arnold Berland, as I said, and developed by others. But these two lines, these two roots, like in Far East and in pragmatism, are like really two foundations of this kind of approach. And Yuriko Saito, that was mentioned before, is combining these two, being the pupil of Berland and of a Japanese background. So, and she sees and she argues also explicitly how these views are really analogous. They are not the same, but they are supporting each other. Generally, I think that, and this is what I claim, that these two approaches to aesthetics of care taken together prove, first of all, multidisciplinarity of aesthetics of care, but also they can, like, thought in a practical way, work towards better planetary health and well-being in the longer run. Yes, so if we take care of the ecosystem within us and with the outside, and we work on it also critically within the art, and we are focused on the qualities of everyday life, this can altogether work towards better balance as such. So And I think that this considering balance between these inner spaces with the outer spaces, understood also on this biological and technological level, and also getting rid of human exceptionalism, allows for more radical and democratic postulates, recognizing different beings and not just humans and their rights. And here I wanted really to refer again to something that was mentioned in Justyna Stępień presentation, yes, in the same one, because she was focusing on rivers. And also I wanted to here to refer to the river, because we are these waterly beings, but also the rivers are more and more often recognized as legal persons that can be presented also in the courts, or whose rights might be defended. And there are also many various artistic projects that are focused on supporting recognition of this kind of subjective status of rivers and of our interconnectedness with them. So, so really, I think that it is something that is up to date now. And again, I wanted to go back and show some examples of the works that artworks that might be considered within this framework of aesthetics of care. And first, especially with this balance of internal ecosystem and its balance with outside ecosystem. I would like to mention a very interesting artwork, but artistic project, or art-based research project by Karl Bates, that is Human Trash Entanglements, Homo sapiens as a multi-species ecology. Here you see on the slide a prototype of a wallpaper with Candida albicans, and on the right also a screening of Candida from inside of Karl Bates on her body. So generally, Karl Bates is working with the Candida albicans and trying to take care of it inside her own body and outside of her body within the gallery space that was organized for the exhibition called The Unsettling Eros of Contact Zones and Other Stories as a kind of lab. So there was also growing this Candida albicans, and it was projected on her body, and she was taking care of it in lab and in herself. Arguing for this, that we shouldn't think about sterilizing our bodies and having this this kind of view, but recognizing that we are not self-contained, but that we are kind of complex beings that that emerge from the interactions of different species that we should take care of in order to feel well, to be well. Yes. So this is a kind of a really interesting project working on these lines. Also, this image was mentioned today, the project by the artistic dual tissue culture and art project, that is the victimless leather. And that is a prototype of stitchless jacket grown technoscientific body from 2004. And here it is, I wanted to show it as a dress that is grown from the living cells that can be worn on the body. And it is not like plants that were being shown that can be also grown on the body, but these are living, not really organisms, but tissues that can fit into the body, also showing that this the place where we define who we are is not that settled on the level of which skin we should decide, on the first skin, on the second skin, on the skin that we put on and we grow, or on the skin that is beneath. And generally, this kind of fashion, or this kind of part also of ourselves, is something that should be care taken. Here I also wanted to mention to you, I think that a very charming project that is now conducted by my student. It will be defended as a diploma in September. She's Klaudyna Szymańska, multimedia student from Academy of Art in Szczecin. She is growing kombucha, or she grew kombucha, from which she is now sewing a tarp, a hammock, and a sleeping bag. She has grown kombucha the big as a room, talking to it, touching it, you know, entering into this direct contact between the skin and the skin. Yes, growing the skin in order to construct the kind of survival kit, you may say, yes. So, and this kind of caring of the material that is taught later to give you a shelter, is this what is important from Klaudyna. So kombucha is a symbiotic bacteria, which already in this principle builds a community, a new creation, and a home. It needs sugar, tea, and water to survive. You can do without tea, and produces acetic acid in the process. It is a future alternative to leather, although not durable enough to be outdoor. You have to feel it and understand it. So, for example, this is how this big kombucha is. So generally, in order to create the material from which it can be sewn later, you have to enter into this very delicate contact with this living matter and grow it carefully, minding its subtle presence. And one more thing, and I wonder how also Jaime will refer later to maybe similar issues, as I foresee some clues that might be taken in a while. There is another project that required, artistic project that required taking care of growing tissues. But this is a kind of problematic, and I wanted to bring it here in order to disturb a bit. This is the project by Teresa Schubert from 2020, Meet Me, and she has taken a small bit of her own body with punction from a leg, and she grew it in laboratory in order to make stacks. So she grew stacks out of her own cells, and she added them, as you see here also on the photo. Yes, here we don't have a kind of artwork that would be an object to be sold on the market, but rather the artistic research project that is posing questions on the division between the human and animal, because if we can eat animals, why we cannot eat then if we don't grow our own meat on from our own bodies, sustaining ourselves. So how to approach this kind of care. So in order not to prolong and leave some time also for discussion, here I will connected with care on every day is rather focusing on the qualities of everyday life. And it is important because it concerns and occupies a large part of our lives. So although we tend not to pay much attention to aesthetic experiences that are everyday. Although aesthetic tastes and judgments can exert really a powerful influence on the state of the world and of quality of life, having also social and political dimension, and it can be understood in different ways as the kind of the spaces and aesthetic experiences to which one has access and to which one doesn't have access. As for example, this is what Bernard was strongly explaining or explicitly explaining, showing that higher class people have got access to nicer aesthetic qualities in relation to the quality of air, in relation to the quality of sound, in the relation to visual qualities that are given to them in the environments where they are structurally and socially placed. So then also the strive for democratic principles refers also to the equal access to positive aesthetic qualities, what is, I think, that very interesting and not that direct way of understanding the democratization, but also worth considering. Thank you very much, and I invite you all for the discussion.